Liam stares at his phone. Another unanswered text to Chloe. He doesn't understand why she pulls away just when things feel close. It's a pattern he's seen before. A ghost in his romantic life. Elsewhere, Ava, a successful executive, finds herself inexplicably deferring to her far less competent male colleague, a strange echo of how she always felt around her very capable, often critical mother. Have you ever felt an invisible script playing out in your most important relationships? A pattern that seems to have roots deeper than you can fathom. A feeling that no matter your age or achievements, some unseen force subtly shapes your choices, your attractions, your deepest insecurities. If so, you're not alone. This is often the quiet, persistent echo of one of the most powerful forces in our psyche. That unseen force, that invisible script, often originates from what the pioneering psychologist Carl Jung identified as the mother complex. See, it's a term that goes far beyond our everyday understanding of mommy issues. It speaks to the profound archetypal imprint of mother, not just our personal mother, but the universal primal experience of nurture, origin, and the vast, sometimes overwhelming, feminine principle. Today, we're not just going to define this complex. We're going to pull back the curtain. We'll explore how this powerful dynamic, often forged in the crucible of our earliest bonds, continues to mold your personality, steer your relationships, and even dictate your sense of self, whether you're a man or a woman. More importantly, we'll look at Jung's insights as tools for recognition, for understanding, and ultimately, for beginning a journey towards greater freedom and more authentic connections. This isn't just about understanding the past. It's about reclaiming your present and shaping a more conscious future. If you're ready to stop just understanding these deep truths and start applying them to transform your inner world, to truly see how these ancient patterns live within you, make sure you subscribe to Mind Mirror. Let's walk this path of self-discovery and empowerment together. So, when we talk about the mother, what are we really talking about? It's so easy to get caught up in the image of our personal mother, the woman who raised us, with all her unique strengths and flaws. And yes, she plays a crucial role, but Carl Jung invites us to look deeper, to see that our personal mother is often the first and most powerful carrier of something far vaster, the mother archetype. Imagine an ancient universal wellspring from which all experiences of mothering arise. This is the archetype. It's the innate idea of the nurturing, life-giving source, the primordial Great Mother, Mother Earth herself. It's the unconditional love we yearn for, the ultimate safety, the place of origin. But like all great archetypal forces, it has a dual nature. It's not just Demeter, the bountiful grain goddess. It can also be Kali, the terrifying devourer. It's the loving embrace, but also the smothering hold. It's the cave that shelters, but also the abyss that consumes. Think about it. How many times have you used the term motherland for your country? Or alma mater for your university? These aren't accidental. The church, a city, even nature itself can embody this maternal, containing, and sometimes overwhelming power. The problem begins when we fail to distinguish between our personal mother and this immense archetypal energy. When we project the totality of the Great Mother, all her divine potential and all her shadowy depths, onto one fallible human being, our actual mother, we create a situation ripe for what Jung calls the mother complex. It's a burden too heavy for any single person to carry, and it distorts both our perception of her and our own development. Have you ever felt that your expectations of your mother, or her expectations of you, seemed almost superhuman, impossible to fulfill? That could be the archetype at play, unacknowledged. The first step to understanding its grip is to see this distinction. Your mother is a person. The mother archetype is a universe within your psyche. So, the core idea here is that the mother archetype is a universal, dual-natured psychic force, and our personal mother is often its first representative. Confusing the two is the seed of the mother complex. But how does this complex specifically manifest in sons, shaping their journey into manhood and their relationships? For a son, the mother is his first experience of the feminine, his first love, his first other. This initial bond is foundational, but as he grows, the mother complex can take some very distinct and often challenging forms. One common manifestation Jung observed is what he termed Don Juanism. Here, the man unconsciously seeks his mother in every woman he meets. He's driven by a restless search for that idealized feminine, that perfect nurture he unconsciously associates with the mother imago. But no real woman can ever live up to this projected archetype. So, he moves from one to another, always chasing a phantom, never truly connecting, always faintly disappointed. Think of a character like, say, Ethan, a charming, charismatic man who has a string of intense but short-lived affairs. He idealizes each new partner, only to find her lacking after a while. He's not a bad person. He's caught in the complex, searching for the mother goddess in human form. Conversely, a strong mother complex can lead to homosexuality, where the son's entire heterosexuality remains unconsciously tied to the mother, making relationships with other women difficult or impossible. Or it can manifest as impotence, a symbolic inability to separate from the maternal and engage fully as a man. Sometimes, the complex expresses itself in a man's over-reliance on a feminine kind of eros. He might be exceptionally good at forming tender friendships, particularly with other men, or possess a refined aesthetic sense, a deep appreciation for history and tradition, even a profound spiritual receptivity. These are the positive gifts of the complex. Think of Professor Alistair Finch, a beloved history teacher, deeply empathetic, a connoisseur of art, but perhaps a little unworldly, a little hesitant in the face of raw, assertive masculinity. His anima, his inner feminine, is highly developed, nurtured by the mother imago, but his direct, outward-facing masculine energy might be less assertive. However, there's also the terrible mother aspect. If a son feels dominated or negatively influenced by his mother, his anima, his inner feminine, can become irritable, touchy, and insecure. He might be plagued by anima moods, as Jung called them, a pervasive sense of meaninglessness, a fear of life itself. I am nothing, the inner voice whispers. Nothing makes sense. This can, even in extreme cases, lead to self-destruction, the anima becoming a death demon. The key for the son is to differentiate his own masculine identity from the powerful maternal influence, to reclaim his anima not as a mother substitute but as a genuine inner counterpart, his bridge to the unconscious and to authentic relationship. How often have you, if you're a man, found yourself seeking approval or validation from women, in a way that felt almost childlike. Or perhaps you've struggled with a persistent inner critic that sounds suspiciously like a maternal voice from your past. In essence, for sons, the mother complex often revolves around the struggle to establish a healthy masculine identity and authentic relationships by navigating the powerful pull of the maternal imago. Now, let's turn to daughters. How does this fundamental archetype shape their journey? For a daughter, the mother complex is, as Jung puts it, clear and uncomplicated in one sense, yet profoundly impactful. It primarily affects the development of her own feminine instincts, either through exaggeration or atrophy. One common outcome is what Jung calls the hypertrophy of the maternal element. This is the woman whose entire identity is consumed by becoming a mother, her husband, her own personality, her individual dreams, all become secondary to the drive to procreate and nurture. Think of Isabella, who, once her children are born, dedicates every ounce of her being to them. She lives through them, while this can appear as selfless devotion. Jung warns that an unconscious eros always expresses itself as a will to power. Such a mother, often unconscious of her own deeper needs, can inadvertently stifle her children's individuality with her overwhelming, albeit well-intentioned, care. She becomes Demeter, clinging to her Persephone, unable to let go. The opposite can also occur, a complete atrophy of the maternal instinct. As a reaction against an all-devouring mother, a daughter might develop an over-intensified eros, often leading to an unconscious incestuous bond with the father. She might become the woman who thrives on romantic and sensational episodes, perhaps drawn to married men not for themselves, but for the thrill of disrupting a maternal bond, a way of unconsciously outdoing her own mother. Chloe, from our earlier example, who seems to sabotage relationships when they become too stable, might be caught in this pattern, unconsciously replaying a rebellion against a mother figure. Then there's the daughter who identifies completely with the mother. She lives a shadow existence, her own initiative paralyzed. She may be outwardly devoted, clinging, yet unconsciously tyrannizing. These are often the bloodless maidens who, despite their passivity, attract anima projections from men seeking a blank slate for their own ideals. The man plays the true knight to her damsel in distress, unaware that her helplessness is often a reflection of his own unacknowledged needs. Finally, there's the daughter defined by resistance to the mother. Her motto is anything, so long as it is not like mother. This can fuel intellectual development, a drive for independence, a cultivation of masculine traits, all in an effort to break free from maternal supremacy. This type of woman, if she can overcome the hell of nothing but femininity, as Jung puts it, and integrate her own maternal nature with her hard-won objectivity, can become an incredibly strong, wise, and effective individual, a true friend and advisor. Have you, if you're a woman, ever felt an intense pressure to be just like your mother, or an equally intense drive to be nothing like her? Both can be signs of the complex at work. So, for daughters, the mother complex often manifests as a struggle with their own feminine and maternal identity, oscillating between over-identification, rebellion, or an unconscious enactment of maternal power dynamics. Understanding these patterns is crucial. But the question remains, what is the positive potential hidden within this powerful archetype? And how do we move towards integrating it? Jung reminds us that the mother archetype, despite the complexities it can create, is not something to be simply gotten rid of. To do so would be to throw away the golden key which a good fairy laid in our cradle. The mother is our first world, the root of all growth and change. The challenge, then, is not to destroy the archetype, but to differentiate it from our personal mother and integrate its profound energy in a conscious, mature way. This is a journey of reclaiming. For the man caught in Don Juanism, it means realizing that the goddess he seeks is an inner figure, his own anima, and that true connection comes from engaging with real women, not idealized projections. For the daughter identified with her mother, it means daring to be abducted from that maternal fusion, to discover her own unique path, even if it means playing a role for a time until her true self emerges. It's about what Professor Evelyn Reed, a literature scholar, might call finding your own narrative, distinct from the one your mother lived or expected for you. The loving and terrible mother, the Kali and the Virgin Mary, the nurturing earth and the consuming abyss, these are all faces of the one great archetype. Recognizing this duality is key. It means accepting that life itself contains these opposites. The goal isn't to banish the terrible aspects, but to understand their place, to draw strength even from the darkness. James, a man struggling with a critical inner voice that echoes his mother, might realize this voice also holds a demand for excellence, a forgotten strength he can reclaim. Jung emphasizes that mankind has always instinctively added the pre-existent divine pair to the personal parents. This is a profound psychological truth. By recognizing the archetypal dimension of mother, we relieve our personal mothers of an impossible burden. We can then see them as human beings, deserving of love and understanding, separate from the cosmic force they once represented for us. This process of differentiation and integration is at the heart of what Jung calls individuation. It's about moving from unconscious identification to conscious relationship with our parents, with our inner figures, and ultimately, with the self, the totality of our being. It's acknowledging the massive weight of meaning the mother archetype carries, and then, with courage and insight, finding our own unique way to relate to that primal power, transforming its potential curse into a profound blessing. What takeaway, what tool for thought can you begin to use today to see the mother archetype, not just your personal mother, at play in your life? So, we've journeyed through the intricate landscape of the mother complex. Guided by Carl Jung, we've seen that the mother archetype is a vast, dual-natured force, far greater than our personal mother, yet profoundly shaping our experience of her. We've explored how this archetype manifests as the mother complex in sons, influencing their identity, their anima, and their relationships, sometimes leading to patterns like Don Juanism or an overdeveloped, ungrounded eros. For daughters, we saw how the complex can lead to an overemphasis or an atrophy of maternal instincts, or a lifelong struggle of identification or rebellion against the mother figure. The most crucial takeaway, the most powerful thinking tool Jung offers us, is the necessity of differentiation and integration. This means consciously separating the archetypal great mother from our personal mother, and then working to understand and integrate the specific ways this primal force has shaped our individual psyche. This isn't about blame. but about profound self-understanding. It's about recognizing the invisible scripts and beginning to write our own. The journey of navigating the mother complex is a vital part of becoming a whole, individuated person. It's about reclaiming lost parts of ourselves, healing old wounds, and ultimately, forging more authentic, conscious relationships with ourselves and the world. This path requires courage, but it promises a deeper, more meaningful connection to the very source of life. What aspect of the mother complex resonated most deeply with your experience? Have you recognized its subtle or not so subtle influence in your own life or relationships? Share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. Your insights might illuminate the path for someone else on this journey. Mind Mirror is a space for these deep dives, for these courageous explorations of the inner world. If you're committed to understanding the hidden forces that shape you, and to forging a more conscious and empowered life, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell. Our next exploration will delve into another foundational archetype that promises even more keys to unlocking your psyche. Don't miss it.